Chairman Park told his son, or withdraw from the succession process before the board does it for you. Jaewon did not raise his voice. And her company? The Park Group will terminate every contract connected to her firm. No director will risk working with a consultant whose relationship with you creates questions about how she obtained access. She earned every contract she received. That will not matter once people begin talking. The chairman pushed a formal board notice across the desk. Choose carefully. The company your grandfather built, or the woman who entered this family through the service gate. I was not in the room when that conversation happened. By then, I had already resigned from the Park estate, completed my MBA, opened a consulting company with my own name on the door, and promised myself that no one would ever again confuse my silence with a lack of ambition. I had also begun falling in love with Park Jae-won. That was the dangerous part. Loving him was not dangerous because he was wealthy, Korean, or heir to one of Seoul's most powerful family companies. It was dangerous because for 3 years he had barely noticed me. Then, just as he finally began to see me, his family decided that recognizing my value was acceptable only as long as he did not love me. My name is Tigist Alemu. In Amharic, Tigist means patience. People often hear that and imagine waiting with folded hands. They imagine a woman tolerating whatever life gives her until someone stronger changes her circumstances. But that was never what patience meant in my family. My mother taught me that patience was preparation. It was knowing what you were building before anyone else understood why you had started. She managed a community health clinic in Addis Ababa for more than 20 years. The clinic had 6 examination rooms, 1 unreliable generator, 3 nurses who were regularly offered better salaries elsewhere, and a budget that seemed to shrink whenever medicine prices rose. Still, the doors opened every morning. Doctors diagnosed patients. Donors posed beside new equipment. Local officials gave speeches about community health. My mother made sure the medicine arrived, the salaries were paid, and the generator had enough fuel to keep the lights on. She ran everything quietly, so other people could run loudly. I grew up watching her. That was why, when I accepted a household manager position at the Park family estate in Seoul, I understood exactly what I was doing. I arrived on a Tuesday morning in March. The taxi left me outside a high stone wall in Songbuk-dong. Beyond the gate stood a vast modern estate made of pale stone, dark glass, and carefully maintained silence. I had seen wealth before. My mother's clinic treated diplomats, executives, and families who arrived in cars worth more than the clinic's yearly medicine budget. What surprised me about the Park estate was not its size. It was the way the house had been designed to erase labor. There were private corridors for staff, hidden doors beside the formal rooms, and a service elevator that allowed food, luggage, flowers, laundry, and documents to appear without the family seeing the people carrying them. The house functioned like a beautiful machine. Machines rarely notice the person keeping them alive. Near the service entrance, an older man in a faded green jacket was trimming a camellia hedge. He straightened when he saw my suitcase. "Good morning," he said. He looked directly at me and waited for my answer. "Good morning." He pointed toward a stone path. "The estate office is through there. Be careful of the second stone. It moves." I stepped around it. "Thank you. You are the new household manager?" "I am." He looked at my shoes. "You will need another pair." I brought 2. His mouth shifted slightly. That was Oh-suk, the estate groundskeeper. He had worked for the Park family for 19 years. Every autumn, he brought persimmons from his own small garden and left them in the kitchen without putting his name on the basket. During my 3 years at the estate, he was the only person who said good morning to me every day as though my answer mattered. Mr. Choi, the head of security, met me inside. He was in his late 50s, broad-shouldered, dignified, and precise. His uniform was always perfectly pressed, not because anyone demanded it, but because he believed a person should respect the work they had agreed to do. He handed me an access card and showed me the security systems, emergency contacts, delivery entrances, and staff schedules. "You will receive many requests marked urgent," he said. "How will I know which ones are truly urgent? The real emergencies arrive without labels." It was the first useful thing anyone told me in that house. My office was narrow and hidden between the pantry corridor and the archive. It had 2 metal filing cabinets, 1 desk, and a small window overlooking the service courtyard. I placed a framed photograph of my mother beside the computer. In it, she stood outside the clinic with one hand on the shoulder of a newly trained nurse. The office door opened before I had finished arranging the desk. Park Jae-won entered while speaking on his phone. He was 32, the eldest son of Chairman Park and the expected heir to the Park Group. He wore a charcoal suit, his black hair neatly parted, and carried himself with the quiet certainty of a man who had never reached for something and discovered it had not already been prepared. He placed a folder on my desk and pointed to 2 signature tabs without interrupting his call. I signed the confidentiality agreement and household protocol form. He ended the call only after I returned the pen. "You have everything you need?" he asked. "For today. Mr. Choi knows the estate. I have already met him." "Good." His phone rang again. He answered it and left. He did not notice my mother's photograph. He did not notice the university documents inside my bag. He did not notice that I had already opened the household accounts on my computer. Jae-won was not cruel. That distinction matters. Cruelty requires attention. His problem was that he had never been required to pay attention at all. I met his mother that evening. Mrs. Park was descending the main staircase when she saw me crossing the marble hall with a stack of staff files. "You are the new household manager." "Yes, madam. Tigist Alemu." She pronounced my surname correctly. "Yes." She studied me for a moment. "I hope the house does not exhaust you. Houses are usually simpler than people." The corner of her mouth moved slightly. "That is true." Then she continued downstairs. At the time, I assumed it was only a polite exchange. Much later, I understood that Mrs. Park had begun observing me from the very first day. By Thursday, I had found 3 accounting errors that had been draining money from the estate for more than a year. I corrected the invoices, recovered the credits, and repaired the payroll records. I told no one. There was no reason to announce that I had done the work I was being paid to do. The estate had rules for everything and reliable systems for almost nothing. Leave requests disappeared. Medical benefits began late. Overtime corrections required signatures from people who rarely worked in the same building. Suppliers charged emergency rates for events planned weeks in advance. I rebuilt the processing calendar, introduced tracking systems for staff benefits, corrected supplier agreements, and created a private weekly appointment period for employees who needed help. Within a year, staff turnover fell from 40% to 0. Mr. Choi noticed. "You closed the loop," he told me once, placing a completed benefits register on my desk. "So do you." He nodded. From him, that was respect. The Park family did not notice. When systems function well, people often praise the system instead of the person maintaining it. I completed my MBA coursework at night. After the house became quiet, I returned to my office with coffee and lecture notes beside the estate accounts. I studied organizational design while washing machines ran below me. I attended seminars at 2 in the morning and submitted assignments before the breakfast schedule began. One night, my mother called while I was reviewing a supplier contract. I answered in Amharic. She asked whether I was eating properly, sleeping enough, and remembering that financial stability was not the same thing as belonging. I told her I was learning what I had come to learn. "You always say that when you do not want to answer me," she replied. I laughed softly. When the call ended, I discovered Jae-won standing in the doorway. I had not heard him arrive. "What language was that?" he asked. "Amharic." "Your mother?" "Yes." "What did she say?" "That depends. Were you listening?" I did not understand enough to listen. Then she said, "Nothing that concerns you." He looked at me for a second longer than usual. "You sound different when you speak to her." "Everyone does." "How?" "Like the person they were. Before the rest of the world learned their name." He glanced at the photograph on my desk. For the first time, he seemed to notice it. Before he could ask another question, his phone rang. He looked at the screen, then silenced it. My father added 2 guests for breakfast. And just like that, the moment closed. "Names." He gave them to me. "Dietary restrictions?" "I do not know. I will find out." He left, but not as quickly as usual. The following morning, One guest received a diabetic meal and the other food prepared without shellfish. Jaewon stopped near my desk before leaving for work. "How did you know?" I asked. He looked at me as though the answer had revealed more than it should have. That was the first time I noticed him beginning to notice me. It was not romance. Not yet. It was discomfort. He had spent his life assuming that information appeared when required. I was beginning to make him curious about where it came from. The work that mattered most began during my 5th month. Inside Chairman Park's correspondence archive, I discovered 3 business relationships that had ended after disagreements shaped more by pride than money. I did not apologize on his behalf. Instead, I maintained the bridges. Every quarter, I sent concise updates from the estate office. I acknowledged important events, sent relevant articles, and ensured that no door closed completely. Director Lim Sung-ho responded first. "Thank you for remembering." During my 2nd year, Director Lim attended a foundation dinner. Before the guests arrived, I adjusted the seating plan so he and Chairman Park would cross paths without being placed together formally. They spoke for 7 minutes. A few months later, Lim's company joined a Park-led research consortium. No one asked how the conversation had become possible. At the end of the dinner, Director Lim approached me near the service corridor. "Ms. Alemu," he said, "the briefing note on the Busan expansion was yours?" "Yes. You understood the supply risk better than 2 of our analysts. The data was clear." The data is rarely clear until someone asks the correct question. Jaewon was standing several feet away. He had been speaking with another executive, but I saw his attention shift toward us. Director Lim handed me his card. "If you ever decide to work outside this house, contact me." "Thank you." After he left, Jaewon approached. "You know Director Lim well?" "I know his correspondence." "He asked for your opinion." "He asked a question. And you answered like a consultant." "I answered like myself." His gaze remained on the business card in my hand. "I did not know you were interested in corporate operations. You never asked." He looked at me then. "Not through me." The expression lasted only a few seconds, but it was the first crack in his certainty. Later that night, I found a cup of coffee outside my office door. No note. Black, without sugar. It was too strong. I drank it anyway. The next morning, Jaewon passed my office. "Was the coffee acceptable?" he asked without stopping. "It was terrible." He paused. "You finished it." Waste is another operational problem. The corner of his mouth lifted. Then he continued down the corridor. I did not build meaning around the exchange. Patience also means refusing to force a moment to become more than it is. By my 3rd spring, I had completed everything I had written in my notebook before entering the estate. My tuition was fully paid. My MBA requirements were complete. I had registered a consulting company, leased a small office in Mapo, and secured 2 clients through people who knew my work outside the Park household. I had accepted the estate position deliberately. I needed 3 years of financial stability, access to Seoul's corporate networks, and time to finish my degree without debt. I had chosen invisibility, the way a chess player chooses a slow opening. Exactly 3 years after I arrived, I printed a standard resignation letter and carried it to Jaewon's study. He was seated behind his desk, looking at his phone. "Mr. Park, I need your signature acknowledging receipt." He opened the folder. "You are resigning?" "Yes." "Is there a problem with the position?" "No." "When is your final day?" "Today." My contract allows the notice period to be waived after 3 completed years. He looked up sharply. "You have already been here 3 years?" "Yes." His phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen, signed the letter, and closed the folder. "Human Resources will process your final payment. I have already confirmed the documents." "Of course." He placed the folder beside him. "Thank you for your work, Ms. Alemu." "Thank you, Mr. Park." I turned toward the door. "Tigist." It was the first time he had used my first name. I stopped. "Where are you going?" "To work." "I mean after this. Somewhere my name will be on the door." His eyes moved to me with the same expression he had worn when Director Lim handed me his card. This time it held something else. Regret. arriving before he fully understood what he had lost. You had already planned this? Yes. For how long? Before I entered your house. He stood. The movement surprised both of us. Why did you never tell me? You never asked. The silence that followed was not empty. His phone vibrated again. This time he did not look at it. Tigist. Yes. He seemed to search for a question large enough to keep me in the room. He did not find one. So, I left. My final hours at the estate were quiet. I transferred the household calendar, organized pending invoices, labeled the supplier agreements, and left instructions for payroll and staff renewals. I documented everything my contract required. I did not document the judgment, relationships, and private corrections no one had ever acknowledged as part of my job. Before leaving, I sent brief professional emails to the caterer, the security contractor, and Chairman Park's 3 business contacts. Please note that as of today, I am no longer the point of contact for the Park estate. 1 sentence each. No explanation. No copied recipients. I removed my personal files from the computer and placed my mother's photograph inside my bag. Mr. Choi waited when I returned my access card. Did they ask you to stay? He asked. No. His jaw shifted slightly. I see. I told him where to find the pending security renewals. You did not leave loose ends. Neither do you. We bowed to each other. It was not a family goodbye. It was recognition between 2 people who understood what the other had carried. I found Oh-suk in the lower garden near the greenhouse. He lifted my suitcase over the loose paving stone, then handed me a small paper parcel tied with string. Inside were dried persimmons. For the road, he said. You remembered. You remembered everyone else. Someone should remember you. I bowed. Goodbye, Oh-suk. Goodbye. Manager Tigist. Not former manager. Not Ms. Alemu. Manager Tigist. I walked through the gates carrying my completed MBA, 3 years of experience, my mother's photograph, and everything I had entered the estate to obtain. For the first day, nothing happened. On the second morning, a catering company contacted the estate about an unpaid account. The service had been approved, but the allocation code was incomplete. I had corrected the same problem every month without anyone realizing the problem existed. The call eventually reached J1. Who handles this now? He asked. The caterer did not know. A few hours later, Mr. Choi entered J1's study and placed a resignation letter on his desk. My medical benefits have been incorrectly processed for 2 months, he explained. My wife begins treatment next week. 2 security officers also have pending renewals. We can correct that today, Jaewon said. Correction is not the same as trust. Why was I not told? The forms were submitted. Ms. Alemu submitted them 3 times. Did Tigist ask you to resign? Mr. Choi looked at him. You still do not understand her. He bowed. She never asked us for loyalty. She earned it. That afternoon, Director Lim called Chairman Park and asked who would manage the quarterly correspondence from the estate. What correspondence? Chairman Park asked. The archive was opened. Every message I had sent was found. The congratulations, condolences, articles, gifts, and replies. Chairman Park had believed 3 damaged relationships had healed naturally. Time had done nothing. Someone had kept the doors open. At dinner that evening, he placed my correspondence log on the table. Why did she not tell me? He asked. Mrs. Park set down her spoon. She told you, every day. The men looked at her. You mistook the absence of trouble for the absence of work. Chairman Park said nothing. Jaewon asked whether she had known. I noticed. Why did you never say anything? She looked directly at her son. I wanted to know how long it would take you to look at the person standing in front of you. Jaewon called me that night. I did not answer. It was not punishment. My contract had ended, and my time belonged somewhere else. He called again the next morning. Then he sent 1 message. I should have asked. I read it. I did not reply. 3 weeks later, he arrived at my new office without an appointment. Alemu Operations and Strategy was printed across the frosted glass door. The office was small. The elevator hesitated between floors, the windows shook when buses passed, And the coffee machine could not be used at the same time as the microwave. But the shelves were mine. The certificate on the wall was mine. The woven Ethiopian basket was mine. My mother's photograph stood beside my computer. The office was smaller than the Park Estate's pantry corridor. It was inhabited. It belonged to me. My assistant opened the door. Park Jae-won is here. Does he have an appointment? No. I finished reading the line in front of me, added a period and closed the document. Show him in. He entered without an assistant or driver. His eyes moved around the room, then stopped at the photograph of my mother. This time, he noticed the clinic sign behind her. He did not ask, but he noticed. Please sit, I said. He took the chair across from my desk. My father wants to hire your firm. For what purpose? A full operational review of the estate. Your family has a corporate operations department. They found 17 recurring tasks with no assigned owner. There were closer to 30. You managed all of them? Some directly, some through other people. Why did you never tell me? I sent reports. That is not what I mean. Then ask what you mean. He looked down at the folder in his hands. Why did you allow me to remain ignorant? You were not ignorant. You were uninterested. He became very still. I was never disrespectful to you. No. You were polite. There is a difference. A large one. Politeness is saying thank you when a room is ready. Respect is learning who prepared it. He did not defend himself. That was the first sign that the man sitting across from me was no longer exactly the man whose house I had left. What did my family lose when you resigned? He asked. Continuity, trust, knowledge. The person who remembered what everyone else forgot. And what did I lose? It was the first personal question he had ever asked me. You lost the chance to know who was in the room with you. His gaze lowered. You knew what I did only after it stopped, I continued. You noticed parts of me before I left, but not enough to ask what they meant. The phone call with your mother. Yes. Director Lim's card. Yes. The coffee. That was you. It was bad. It was. A quiet smile appeared and disappeared. I kept thinking there would be time, he said. For what? To ask. You had 3 years. I know. The apology came without decoration. I am sorry. It did not ask me to make him feel better. Thank you. He placed the proposed consulting agreement on my desk. What is your rate? I told him. It was more than the estate had paid me in 3 months. He did not negotiate. Accepted. You should review the scope first. I reviewed it twice. That is an improvement. I am attempting several. I accepted the contract. 2 weeks later, I returned to the Park Estate through the main entrance. Jae-won was waiting in the hall. You are early, he said. You are standing in the entrance. I thought I should meet you. Mr. Choi used to meet me. I know. The consulting project lasted 12 weeks. During that time, Jae-won began doing something he had never done while I worked for his family. Listen. He attended staff interviews and wrote down what people said. He learned how benefits failed, why supplier problems were hidden, and how much work disappeared into unrecorded favors. One afternoon, Mrs. Han described a series of payroll errors and then looked toward me. Manager Tigist always corrected these things before they reached us. This is not a tribute meeting, I told her. Tell us what failed after I left. She listed 7 problems. Jae-won wrote down every one. After she left, he remained seated. You never let them praise you. Praise does not correct payroll. That is not an answer. It is the answer the report requires. He looked at me for several seconds. Did anyone thank you properly while you worked here? Mr. Choi brought accurate records. Oh Suk gave me persimmons. That is not what I asked. I know. He gathered his notes, but his attention remained on me. I noticed you before you resigned, he said. Not enough. No. He accepted the answer. That acceptance was more persuasive than any explanation he could have offered. One evening, I was working late when he arrived with 2 cups of coffee. He placed one beside me. I did not ask for coffee. I know. Then how do you know I drink it? You take it without milk after 7. With milk before 7. I looked at the cup. Black coffee. You are observing me. I am correcting a professional weakness. Is that what you call it? At the moment. I took a sip. It is still too strong. You drank it. Waste remains an operational problem. He sat across from me. Tell me about the clinic. What clinic? The one in the photograph. You noticed the sign. I notice more now. That can become uncomfortable. It already has. I told him about my mother, the 6 examination rooms, the stubborn generator, and the nurses she knew how to keep. You learned the estate from her, he said. I learned people from her. The estate was easier. And me. You were not difficult. You were unavailable. Am I still? Less than before. Neither of us looked away. The distance between our chairs became too noticeable. I closed the file. We should stop for tonight. Because the work is finished? Because it is not. I left first. A week later, heavy rain fell over Seoul after another late meeting. I stood beneath the estate awning waiting for a taxi. Jaewon pulled up beside me. Get in. My car will arrive. In 23 minutes. You checked. I notice more now. I entered the car. For several blocks. Neither of us spoke. Then he asked, Did you ever hate us? No. Not even me. Hatred is expensive. I had tuition to pay. He laughed before he could stop himself. Then he apologized. For laughing. For being surprised that you are funny. That apology is worse than the original offense. He smiled. Then the smile faded. I think about the day you left. You were looking at your phone. I remember. Good. I also remember what you said. You were going somewhere your name would be on the door. It is. I saw it. I was proud of you. You did not know me well enough to be proud of me. Then perhaps. I wanted to. Wanting is not the same as knowing. Then let me learn. The car stopped outside my building. I opened the door. Good night, Mr. Park. J1. I paused. When we are not at the estate, we are still under contract. Then after the contract, I left without answering. Chairman Park noticed before either of us admitted what was happening. One afternoon, he saw us discussing a report in the courtyard. How long has that been happening? He asked his wife. Mrs. Park did not look up from her book. What? The way he looks at her. Longer than he understands. She was an employee. She was a person. That was the part he missed. Chairman Park began attending more project meetings. He questioned my recommendations sharply, but never found a factual weakness in them. During one meeting, I proposed giving the estate director direct access to the family office. That is unnecessary, he said. It is necessary if you expect accountability. The household functioned for decades without it. The household functioned because employees quietly repaired the structure every time it failed. His gaze hardened. You speak differently now. I am sitting in a different chair. Jaewon looked down at his papers, trying to hide a smile. Chairman Park saw it. After the meeting, Mrs. Park found me in the garden. My husband dislikes being corrected, she said. Most people do. He dislikes it more when the person correcting him remembers what he has forgotten. Then this project may remain unpleasant. She watched me sort a basket of persimmons. My son watches you when you are not speaking. That is not part of the consulting scope. No. She selected one persimmon. Be careful that his awakening does not become another responsibility you are expected to manage. Then she walked away. It was both a warning and a kindness. When the consulting contract ended, Jaewon came to my office with the final report. The project is complete, I said. Then we are no longer under contract. That is correct. Have dinner with me. Why? Because I have spent 12 weeks trying not to ask. That does not explain why. I want to sit across from you without an agenda between us. I want to know what you order when no one else's preferences matter. I closed the report. One dinner. He chose a small Ethiopian restaurant. He arrived early, without a driver, and kept his phone away from the table. He struggled with the injera. You are holding it incorrectly, I said. You did not look. I heard the plate move. I showed him how to fold the bread. Our hands touched. Neither of us moved away. Immediately, "Will I meet your mother?" he asked. "You have moved very far beyond one dinner. I am planning ahead. That is my profession. Then consider it a forecast." I placed the food down. "Your father will oppose this. Do not insult both of us by pretending you do not understand." His expression became serious. "I understand. I worked inside your home. I managed your staff. People will say you confused gratitude with desire. I have asked myself that. And gratitude makes me respect what you did. Desire is what happens when you look at me across a table. And I forget the question I intended to ask." I held his gaze. "That answer sounds rehearsed." "It is not. I wish it were. I would have said it better." Outside the restaurant, rain moved along the street beneath the city lights. "Tigist." I turned. "May I kiss you?" "You ask permission now. I am learning to notice where my rights end." I stepped closer. "Then, notice this." Kissed him. For 3 years, nothing between us had been allowed to exist. That night, the restraint ended. His hand rose toward my face, then stopped. I took it and placed it at my waist. When we separated, his forehead rested briefly against mine. "One dinner," I reminded him. "I would like to renegotiate. My rates are high." "I know." For several weeks we met openly but quietly. We ate in small restaurants where no one cared about the park name. He came to my office with badly chosen pastries. I visited his apartment and discovered 6 wine openers, imported coffee, and no frying pan. "How do you eat?" "At restaurants." "That is not a system. It has worked so far." "So had your estate, according to your father." He bought a frying pan the following day. Chairman Park learned about us soon afterward. He called Jae-won into his study and placed 2 documents on the desk. One suspended him from the succession committee. The other authorized a review of every Park Group contract connected to my firm. "End it," he said, "or withdraw from the succession process before the board does it for you." "And her company? No park director can continue hiring her while she is involved with you. It creates an appearance of influence. She earned those contracts. That will not matter once people begin talking. You intend to make them talk. I intend to protect the company. By destroying hers? By refusing to let your private life become a governance problem." Jae-won looked at the succession notice. "My private life became a problem only when I chose someone you do not consider suitable. She entered this family through the service gate. Then perhaps I should stop entering through the front." The consequences reached me. 2 days later, Director Lim postponed a major consulting engagement. Another company withdrew from negotiations after its legal department raised concerns about my connection to the park heir. No one accused me directly. That was not necessary. Questions were enough. Had I received the estate contract because of Jae-won? Had our relationship begun while I was still employed? Had I used private family information to build my firm? The facts did not support any of it. Rumors do not require facts. They require uncertainty. Jae-won came to my apartment that evening. "Your father has reached my door." "Without entering it," I said. "I know. You told me he threatened the succession. You did not tell me he was reviewing my contracts. I learned this morning and came here carrying anger. I am not angry with you. Anger does not care who caused it. It only looks for somewhere to live." He looked away. "I will make a statement. No. I can explain that our relationship began after the consultancy ended, and invite strangers to examine every private moment we have had. I cannot allow them to damage your company. You cannot rescue my company from a crisis created by your name without making your name even more central. What do you want me to do? Decide who you are when no one is watching you defend me. I already know. No. Right now, you know what you are willing to fight against. That is not the same as knowing what you are willing to build." He became quiet. "I will not become the woman you choose only because choosing me allows you to prove something to your father," I continued. "Do not arrive at my door carrying a war and call it love. What happens to us? Go home. Build the answer before you ask me to live inside it. And if your answer changes while I am gone, then you will have learned that love does not create ownership. For 3 weeks, I did not hear from him. During that time, I worked. I met with every client personally. I opened my records to independent review. I accepted the loss of one contract and refused to discount my rates to reassure nervous executives. Director Lim eventually called. I should not have postponed our agreement, he said. You made the decision your board required. My board did not require it. I was cautious. That is a more honest answer. Will your firm still accept the work? Our next opening is in 6 weeks. You are making me wait? I am giving you the next available date. He laughed once. Your mother named you correctly. My company survived. Not without cost. I delayed hiring 2 analysts. I used personal savings to cover payroll. For the first time since opening the firm, I understood how quickly reputation could become another asset controlled by people outside the room. Jaewon did not contact me. He did not issue a public statement. He did not use his decisions to demand my attention. He moved out of the estate and resigned from the Park Group Executive Committee. Then he presented the board with a governance proposal separating family relationships from procurement decisions, including an independent review of every contract awarded to my company. The review found no impropriety. He also gave up his seat on the succession committee. Chairman Park asked whether he understood what he was losing. I understand what I was accepting without earning, Jaewon replied. Mr. Choi received a new contract with protected medical benefits and independent reporting authority. The estate adopted the operating structure my firm had recommended. Jaewon did not tell me any of this. I learned about it after the board issued a formal governance notice. Then one evening my assistant appeared at my door. You have a visitor. Does he have an appointment? No. Jaewon stood behind her. He entered my office carrying no folder. I did not come from my father's house, he said. Where did you come from? My apartment. How many frying pans? 1. That is not enough. I was advised to begin slowly. By whom? The salesperson. That person earned a commission from your helplessness. I suspected as much. I waited. I resigned from the executive committee, he said. I know. I gave up the succession process. I know. I did not do it to prove that I love you. Good. I did it because I could not return to the same position and pretend I had learned anything. He stepped closer then stopped. I do not know what my career looks like next. I do not know whether my father will forgive me. I do not know whether the board will ever invite me back. He looked directly at me. But I know what I want to build. What? A life where the person beside me does not have to become smaller to protect my place in the room. The silence lasted several seconds. I love you, he said. Not loudly, not like a declaration intended for anyone outside the office. I love the way you refuse to waste words. I love that you eat the soft part of a persimmon first. I love that you straighten your mother's photograph before difficult meetings. I love that you never ask a room for permission to belong in it. My company nearly failed because of your family. I know. Your father still opposes us. I know. You may wake up one day and want the life you surrendered. I may. That answer made me look at him more carefully. He did not rush to correct it. I cannot promise I will never miss it, he continued. I can promise I will not make you responsible for the choice. That was the first answer he gave me that sounded like a man, rather than an heir. I walked around the desk. I missed you. He released a breath. I touched his face. But you still need more than one frying pan. Will you help me choose another? No. Some systems you must build yourself. Then kissed him. Chairman Park did not accept our relationship quickly. Men like him rarely change because they have lost an argument. They change when reality leaves them nowhere comfortable to stand. The independent review cleared my firm. Director Lim signed the postponed contract. My company hired the 2 analysts I had delayed bringing in and expanded into the office next door. Jaewon accepted a position with a technology logistics company outside the Park Group. For the first time in his adult life, His title did not contain his family's name. Mrs. Park visited my office once. She brought a lacquered box of tea from Addis Ababa. "My husband asked me to give you this," she said. "Did he?" "No." She sat across from me. He believed removing J1 from the succession process would bring him back into line. It did not. No. She looked at my mother's photograph. He also believed pressure would reveal whether you were interested in my son or his position. And what did it reveal? That my husband is capable of damaging several people while conducting an experiment no one asked him to perform. I almost smiled. "Why are you here, Mrs. Park?" "To tell you that J1 has stopped trying to replace his father's approval with yours. That matters." "Yes." She stood. "If you ever join this family, I will not pretend you arrived because my son brought you." She looked at the name on my glass door. "You built your own entrance." Then she left. Several months later, Chairman Park invited me to a private family dinner. No board members. No journalists. No public announcement. I entered through the main entrance and sat beside J1. A bowl of Osuk's persimmons rested at the center of the table. Chairman Park spoke about business for most of the meal. Then he looked at me. "Director Lim says your firm is advising his new facility. For 8 weeks. He says your recommendations are expensive. He hired us again." Mrs. Park lifted her tea to hide a smile. Chairman Park picked up a persimmon. "The foundation is opening a health access program next year," he said. "We need someone to review the operating model. My assistant can arrange a consultation." Jaewon looked down at his plate. Chairman Park nodded. "Of course." It was not an apology, but it was the first time he approached me. Through the front door. After dinner, I walked into the lower garden. Osuk was covering the young persimmon trees against the evening cold. "Manager Tigist," he said. "You are still calling me that. You are still managing things." He handed me a ripe persimmon. "Will you return to the house?" "To work." He looked toward the illuminated windows. "To whatever they are trying to become." "I do not know." "Good." I raised an eyebrow. A person should not return until the place understands the difference between inviting her and needing her. A month later, I returned from Addis Ababa with a new photograph of my mother and me standing outside the clinic. I placed it beside the older picture in my office. Jaewon arrived carrying breakfast and a large envelope. "My assistant told you I had not eaten," I said. "She likes me. She likes the restaurant you order from." He placed the envelope beside my notebook. "What is that?" "A letter from the Park Group board." I looked at him. "My father is retiring at the end of the year. And the board wants me to return as chief executive." The room became very quiet. I looked at the envelope. "Under what conditions?" "None written." Written conditions are usually the easiest ones. "I know. Do you want it?" He did not answer immediately. "Yes," he said at last. "Part of me does." I appreciated the honesty. More than I would have trusted a sacrifice. "And the other part?" "Remembers what the position allowed me not to see." I looked at my mother's photograph. She had spent her life teaching me that patience was not delay. It was the discipline of refusing to make a permanent choice because a temporary feeling demanded an answer. "When must you decide?" I asked. 30 days. He moved toward the desk and reached for the photograph, then stopped before touching it. He looked at me for permission. I nodded. He straightened the frame carefully. "What do you think I should do?" he asked. "I think you should decide who you are when you walk back through that door. And if that man still chooses you, he will know where to find me." Jaewon looked at me for a long moment. Then he picked up the board's letter. He kissed my forehead and walked toward the door. His hand rested on the handle. "Tigist." "Yes. The first time you left my family's house, I let you walk away because I had never learned how to ask the right question. And now I know the question." He looked down at the envelope. "I am still learning the answer." He left. The door closed softly behind him. I sat with the silence. For a moment. Not long. Then I noticed that my mother's photograph had shifted slightly beneath his hand. I straightened it. Opened my notebook to a fresh page. wrote the date at the top, and returned to work.